while no one else is on here. How do you do that? If you only could see, maybe I should just do this. Like, look, I have that window. That's like a door. And then over here, I've got that window and that window. And I'm sitting here and I look like I'm working in a cave. It's like all backlighting. I don't know how to fix it. I think I need a little diva light ring. That only makes it better until the surface realizes it's fake light and then makes it even darker. You see that? Isn't that crazy? I do not know how to fix it. So you'll just think I work in a cave. Talk to me. Somebody. Anybody. Hi, Angie. Oh, I should get something real quick. Maybe I should be able to close this meeting.
Hey guys.
Hello. How are you? Yeah. My internet connection sucks, guys. Do I break up on these calls when I talk? Like, do you guys see my screen free ever? Hey, Jen, when I take these calls, does my screen freeze and I freeze up or no? Do you ever have that happen? Because it tells me all the time that my connection is very unstable. Awesome. Hi, Joe.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you? Hey, Emil.
Great. All right. What an amazing team we've got here.
Yeah, we'll give them one more minute.
Oh, you just wait.
What's that?
You just wait.
I said, oh, you just wait. There's more coming.
Yeah, usually we get a few more on. So we can give them like a minute and then we can get started because I want to respect your time. I know we don't like to do calls late and I want to get you home with your family.
Oh, well, thanks for being considerate. You guys are great.
No,
Amelia, give us, how are things going?
you're still muted.
We are okay. Right here,
Hey,
chilling.
sweetie.
It looks like we're just waiting on the Ever Awesome Insurance to give us the okay to move into a rehab facility.
That's
So
good.
rehab will be, I don't know how long. It'll be intense, but that's what we need. So neurosurgery is definitely ready to push her out the door, which I am very pleased with. So, I mean, we're like 7 days post-op from a traumatic brain injury, so I have much to be thankful for right now. So,
Oh, I'm
not
so glad to hear
very
that.
distracted with, but much to be thankful for.
Well, I mean, she's a blessing and she's a trooper and a warrior and she's so strong and fights hard and you love her spirit.
We're seeing improvements every single day, so that's huge. That's huge. So
Oh, that's
I don't know
wonderful
how
to
long it will
hear.
take, but yeah, she should get there. So thank you for asking.
No, it's good to hear that kind of stuff. You know, like my dad had a lot of health issues growing up, so it seemed like, you know, I know how it is being next to a hospital bed and not knowing what, you know, life is going to throw your way, and it's scary. You know what I mean?
Your brother too, right?
What's that?
And your brother too, right?
Yeah, my brother has Down syndrome, but fortunately he's been in pretty good health. You know what I mean, growing up. But so, you know, I've been with him through, you know, the Down syndrome stuff, but different feeling than like being scared for somebody's, you know, like
Yes.
life. You know what I mean? For sure. My dad has a bleeding sore, so he almost died like a few times growing up, and it was freaky.
Wow.
But
It really is, yeah. So, you know, the scariness of that is a little bit gone. I have to say that I posted intentionally every single day except for Sundays for my shake and workout. So I didn't miss that on my health bet. So, and I didn't eat any cookies or donuts. And there's a Dunkin' Donuts right downstairs. So
Oh man.
I also I need prizes, guys.
Dude, that is amazing. Like, all I know is when the stress level gets high for me, the cookie level gets high for me too.
So does mine. So does mine. So I told Jen and Carrie, I'm like, dude, guys, I haven't had any of them yet. So yeah, so I'm trying.
Wow, you're a stronger person than me, that's for sure. Good job. All right, so who do we have in this call?
Oh, I'm going to start recording. Oh, what? Is it already recording? Look at that. It's already recording. Okay, I didn't know it was recording. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I was just curious to see, is this just everybody on the team, or is this specific people on the team, or?
We opened it. So we opened it. We have a bunch of leaders on the team, and we run one big call for everyone, and we opened it for the entire downline.
Okay.
We group together every Tuesday night and do a call. So this is, hundreds of people, and these are the people that choose to show up. And then we do record it, and then we do the recording. So I think a lot of people, maybe the time doesn't work and they tune in later, but the people you're looking at are the people on our team that are committed. Plus, another dozen or so that don't always get to call in.
All right. Well, good deal. I was just curious just to see, because sometimes I'll switch up the message depending on who it is exactly that we're presenting to, but just knowing that it's everybody on the team, I think that's great. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about today, honestly, was just, setting up a solid foundation for your business now and in the future, right? So I'm going to be, the principles we'll be sharing now are principles you can put in place whether you're a brand new coach or whether you're a 15-star coach. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the amazing things about Beachbody is that if you're able to master fundamentals and then help other people, figure out those fundamentals as well, you're in really good shape. You're going to be in really good shape. So the first thing I wanted to do today is I wanted to start off with a challenge for you guys, okay? And the challenge that I have for you guys is simply this. Identify where you want to be in 6 months and in a year from now, okay? So a couple of weeks ago, we had a national wake-up call with Lindsay, and she talked about tips for goal setting. And her first tip I thought was fantastic. She said, set your goals off of what you really want in life, not what you think you're capable of doing, okay? Out of all of you guys who are on this call, how many of your coaches or your challengers sell themselves short on their potential, right? Everybody has people on their team that sell themselves short. You're like, I don't know if I can do it. And as you look in the mirror, you see some of this self-doubt and you say, I don't know, that might be cool for other people, but not me, right? So what I want you to do when you're wanting to, setting your goal on where you want to be 6 months from now and 1 year from now, set that goal based off of where you really want to be, not what you think you're capable of, okay? So I want you to be able to do that. And the reason why that's so important, guys, is if your head doesn't go there first, there's no way your actions are ever going to take you there, okay? You have to allow your brain to dream and to grow and to be able to think outside of what you feel like you're capable of, right? So that's my first challenge for you guys today. You got to lay out a groundwork of where you want to go and end. How many of you guys have seen Alice in Wonderland before? Anybody ever see that? Read the book? Any of that stuff? So there's a specific scene in Alice in Wonderland that I really, really like. And it kind of hit me when I first heard it like this. And basically Allison's wandering through Wonderland, right? And she reaches a fork in the road. And the Cheshire Cat's on this tree. And Allison's kind of lost, so she's like, which road should I take? And the Cheshire Cat says, well, where do you want to go? And she said, I don't know. And he said, then it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter which road you take. You know what I mean? And what you guys got to identify right now is where you want to go. And then when you reach these crossroads in your business and when time gets tough, then you're going to know, am I going to take the high road? The road that's going to lead me where I want to go? Or am I going to take the easy road? The path of least resistance. And as you take the path of least resistance, you're not going to see those results you want. But if you haven't identified where you want to go first, then you're always going to do that. So that's my first challenge for you guys today. And what I'm going to challenge you guys to do as well is going to be a little bit outside of your comfort zone. Write up where you're going to want to go in 6 months and in 1 year, and then Facebook message it to me. Just be like, Joe, I want to do X, Y, Z. It might look like going to New Leadership Conference. It might look like being an elite coach, being a premier coach, going to leadership. It might look like not working your day job anymore and staying home with your kids. It could look like whatever. I just want you guys to identify what it is, what you want to achieve, and then send it over to me, okay? If we're not Facebook friends already, friend me on Facebook. It's Joe R. Cardon. And just shoot me over those goals really quick. Okay, so after that, the biggest part, obviously, of this coaching thing is really being able to help other people do the same thing that you're doing, right? So let's talk about that a little bit. I like to look at your potential as kind of like a pebble that you drop in the pond. And when you drop that pebble into the pond, it creates ripples, right? And those ripples really represent your effect on the community. Now, I like this saying, and I think it was Lindsay Matway, I don't know who it was, but she said, the amount of money you make is a direct result of the amount of people that you help, okay? So as we help people get real fitness results, as we help people, live healthy and fulfilling lives, that is going to help you in a big time way with your business, how much money you're bringing in, all of that stuff, right? So you as a coach, as you're helping people hit Success Club, you're like that pebble, right? As you have people join your challenge groups, as you have all these things, you're making ripples in your community. You're helping people live more healthy and fulfilling lives. And that's great. But, that's the first step, right? That's the first step of the equation. The second step of the equation that really compounds your effect on your society is how many of your coaches are you helping do the same? Okay. You yourself are going to be the bulk of your business. You can only help so many people personally in a month. That's just the way it is, right? Some people are better at it than others, However, if you can help your coaches help other people, then you're creating this army that's going to be going out there to help end the trend of obesity and help people live healthy and fulfilling lives. As you do that, your effect grows in society. You're no longer that pebble anymore. You're like a big rock, right? And when that rock hits the water, it's making waves instead of ripples in this whole trend of ending obesity. So guys, getting yourself to transform from a pebble to a rock is definitely one of the biggest things that you can do in your business to help you grow. Now, I always think, whenever I think about this concept, I always think like, dude, it seems like almost all of my math teachers that I had were fantastic mathematicians. They're amazing, right? But they were pebbles. They weren't rocks because they couldn't translate the ability to solve equations and teach other people effectively, right? It seemed like they're speaking a whole different language. Now, as you're talking with your coaches, you got to make sure you're not like that math teacher. You got to make sure that you're conveying the information in a way that's easy and duplicatable for them to achieve, right? So you want to make sure that you're propagating that information forward. Now let's talk a little bit about how you can do that, okay? So John C. Maxwell talks about this concept of mentorship and how you can coach or mentor people to do other things, outside of their comfort zone or get them to grow. There's two real categories that he says that you can influence these people in. The first category is leading by example, okay? So if you want your team to be building, if you want your team to have people in the challenge group, if you want your team to be coaches, you have to be leading from the front on this, okay, guys? If you want your coaches to recruit 2 people a month, you've got to be recruiting 5 coaches a month. If you want your coaches to hit Success Club 5, you have to hit Success Club 10, right? That's what John C. Maxwell calls the law of the lid. You are the lid of your organization, and if you want them to be here, you've got to be higher than that, okay? So first thing we can do as far as mentorship and being a true leader is we have to set the example, right? Lead from the front. So that's the first challenge I'm going to have for you guys. The second challenge is a little bit more difficult, okay? The second challenge requires us to actually mentor and coach these people and help them along the way. So this part's difficult. What I'm going to ask you guys to do, though, is to do this. Once you've led by example, once you've provided the information to the coaches, let's say you have a new coach training or a push to Emerald group or a diamond mentorship, whatever that looks like, right? And you've given them the information. The real question is, who do you spend your time with at that point in time? Have any of you guys ever had people be like, yeah, I want it, I'm going to show up, this is my month or whatever, and then people don't do anything, right? I think we've all had people that are that way, where it's like, yeah, I'm going to hit Success Club, I'm going to help other people, I'm really passionate about this, and then when push comes to shove, nothing happens, right? So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is first give them the framework to be successful. If they don't have the training, they can't necessarily be successful in what they need to do. So provide that new coach training, provide the push to Emerald, provide, those types of frameworks for them to be successful. Now, one of the things that I would ask you guys to do, honestly, with your brand new coaches is to focus on the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four is a simple, duplicatable system that if you put in place, you will be successful. It might not take, it might not happen overnight, but you will definitely get the results you're looking for in the end. And what that really looks like is this. You're going to ask them to do 4 things on a daily basis. The first thing is add people to their social media network, right? So if they want people to join their challenge groups, first they need to increase how many people that they're influencing on social media every single day. That could look like adding people to Facebook, finding followers on Instagram, subscribers on YouTube, so on and so forth. If you've got an hour a day or more, then I'm going to ask you to do 10 people every single day. If you've got an hour or less, I'm going to ask you to do 5 people every single day that you add to your social media network. Once you've done that, the next step in the Fantastic Four is connecting. You've got to be able to have conversations with people, interact with people, actually understand who they are, what makes them tick, and really build a relationship with these people. If you're just going to like jump out of nowhere and be like, surprise, join my challenge group, they're going to be like, whoa, this guy's a weirdo. And they're just going to block you, or they're not going to respond to you. But if you've already had conversations, there's some mutual ground between you, they already know who you are, they see that you're inspiring, they're going to listen to you, okay? So the second step is have conversations every day. Again, if you got less than an hour, 5 conversations in a day. If you've got more than an hour to do Beachbody every single day, I'm going to challenge you to do 10 conversations every single day. After you've got that, you've kind of created some mutual ground, you're starting to forge some relationships out there. Now it's time to get serious and talk about the invite. The invite is really key for so many people. And what Wayne Gretzky says, like, really hits home to me. He says that you miss every shot that you don't take. So if you don't invite somebody to your challenge group, you can't expect them to join your challenge group, right? So how many people have ever felt like you're failing at challenge or invites before? Anybody ever feel that way? So many people do. I'm actually curious, who joined coaching the first time somebody talked to you about coaching? Very, very first time. That's interesting. Okay, so the first time somebody talked to you about coaching, nobody on this call joined to be a Beachbody coach. So what does that tell us? That tells us 2 things. 1, you did become a coach, but 2, you became a coach because of the follow-up, right? And I promise you, no matter how good your invite is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter, because most people are going to give you a 2-letter response. They're going to say no. And it doesn't matter how good it is. It doesn't matter what your process is. So what I want you guys to understand is you're not failing. As you get out there and as you invite people, that's a big step in the right direction. Now, they may say no, but what you want to understand is this is a process, okay? It's not something that you're failing at. It's just, that's the first step in the path you need to take to get them to become a challenger, to get them to become a coach. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is do at least 5 follow-ups, or at least 5 invites every single day. That's step number 3. Now, if you really want your business to grow, do 10. That could be invites to a free challenge group. It could be invites to a challenge group. It could be invites to coaching. but you need to get those invites and those seeds planted so later on they can begin to sprout and grow, you know. And then you know, what we'll talk about now is the follow-up. When you follow up with people, that's really where the fortune lies, right? The fortune is in the follow-up. So I was talking with, no, it was actually at a Super Saturday, Megan Ewaldson, number 3 in the whole network, was talking about how she'd been invited to coaching tons of times. She was always into fitness. She's like this little Barbie doll, beautiful woman. And all these people were like, you should coach, da, 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 da. She'd say, no, 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 no. And she was like, I'm so grateful that my coach followed up with me. Because if it wasn't for her following up with me, I would have just said no, and I would never have joined her team. But joining Beachbody has changed my life, you know, and she's now living a lifestyle she never would have had as like a military wife before. I mean, you can have a respectful life in the military, but not making the kind of money that she's making now, right? But that all happened because the follow-up took place. So this is the Fantastic Four. And just so you know, it's as well, mirror however many invites you're doing. If you're going to do 5 invites a day, do 5 follow-ups a day. If you're going to do 10 invites a day, do 10 follow-ups a day. So these are the 4 things that you're going to ask your coaches to do at the very beginning, right? And you need to be leading from the front with all of this stuff as well. As you do these follow-ups, guys, and as you plant these seeds and you're adding people to your social media network and you're having conversations, you are taking action. And as you take action, reactions take place. I always talk, I mean, I'm sure Jen and some of the others, and Amelia, have already heard this from me before, but I always say for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. That's Newton's 3rd law of physics, okay? You guys might not see these reactions taking place. When you invite somebody, you hear no. But you don't understand that that person was like, wheels are turning in their head all of a sudden, and they're like, okay, maybe this coaching thing is something I should look into. Like, I've already lost 20 pounds through 21 Day Fix or through Country Heat or whatever it is. Maybe Amelia's right, or, maybe Jennifer's right, or Rachel's right. And then they go home and they have a conversation with their spouse. And they literally get down on their knees and they pray and ask God, is this the right thing for me to do? You don't see all of those reactions. You just see no, okay? So what I'm going to tell you guys is stay consistent, show up every single day, do your Fantastic Four every single day. As you do, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. But you need to make sure if you're wanting a specific reaction, you've got to show up every day, right? You have to show up every day and be consistent. Dude, what better example of doing that do we have than Amelia right now? I mean, what an absolute phenomenal woman that she is, so dedicated and so just driven that even through such hardships in her life, she's showing up every single day and she's staying consistent. Guys, people who want it show up, right? People who want it are committed. Now there's a difference between being committed and just saying you have a goal, right? Somebody shared that. I don't remember who it was. It might have been one of you on this call the other day, but you've got to work with the people who are committed. Okay. So as you're asking them to do the Fantastic Four, find out some sort of a way to track that. Let that be a trigger for you to understand who to work with. Because I'll tell you this much, if you try and pour your heart and soul into every single person who comes into this business and make sure that you're always with them, you're going to run out of steam, and you're going to feel frustrated, because here's the bottom line. Not everybody that joins this business is committed, right? So if they're showing up every single day, they're putting skin in the game, they're doing their Fantastic Four, and they're taking action, that's the trigger. That's how you know who you need to be working with, okay? So at that point in time, you can say, okay, Sarah, you're doing such an amazing job. I've noticed that you've stayed consistent every single day on how many people you're inviting, how many follow-ups you're doing. You're taking action. I can promise you're heading in the right direction. Because here's the thing, guys. We know that this is not a direct result business, okay? Some of you might be even noticing right now, shoot, dude, this is a harder month for me. Oh, well, I'll tell you this much. We're just on the heels of summer. And if you kind of went on vacation and you're MIA a little bit, now's the time you're going to be paying the fiddler for that, right? Because a month, 2 months, 3 months ago, You weren't quite as dedicated. So what you want to make sure is that if these people are putting skin in the game and they're doing what they can now, you need to jump and seize that opportunity to motivate and inspire these individuals, to do the mentoring, right? To breathe in confidence and faith in these people and let them know they're heading in the right direction. Because if they stay consistent long enough with these things, they'll see the results come down the pike that they're looking for. I can promise you that will happen. But the problem is, it's just like New Year's resolutions. If you show up on January 1st and you're like, this is my year, I'm excited, this is amazing. You start going to the gym, you're working hard. But what happens with these people is they go to the gym 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And what will happen is they'll work hard. They'll do exactly what they need to do to get where they want to go. But what will take place that's a killer for them is they jump on the scale where they look in the mirror and they say, holy crap, I'm working my butt off here and I look exactly the same and I weigh a pound more this week than I did last week. What they don't understand is if they stayed consistent for 3 months, they would look like a completely different person. But, they stopped early, before they actually started seeing those results. So your job as a coach is to talk with these individuals and say, okay, one, are you taking action? Yes. Okay, fantastic. And breathe that confidence into them. If they're not taking action, then that's a different story, right? At that point in time, you got to have like a real conversation with them and say, okay, we want to make sure that what do you want to do with coaching is the conversation I'd have with those people and say, where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? Why coaching for you? And once you understand exactly where you want to go or where they want to go and what they're doing, then at that point in time, you want to align their actions with their desired outcome. Now, if their actions and their desired outcome are in alignment, eventually those paths will intersect and they'll reach their goal. But if their goals are here and their actions are way down here, then they're not going to reach it. So just talk to them and say, guys, my goal as your coach is to help you reach this goal. Remember, this is where you want to be. So I'm going to challenge you to do these actions that are in alignment with your goal every single day. Now, if you show up every single day, you will achieve that. Do I have your permission to hold you accountable to this? Can you hear me? Okay, good deal. My audio froze. So just ask them for permission to hold them accountable. Most people will thrive on that and want it, right? If they already are doing those things, then you just got to just totally love on those guys and recognize them on the page. Like publicly recognize those individuals for putting skin in the game and doing what they need to do. Like as you continue to do these types of things, you'll eventually start to create other leaders. You're going to have people who are going to hit emerald. You're going to have people who hit diamond. The last thing I would just really say between all this coaching, mentorship, and really establishing a strong foundation is you're going to reach a critical mass where you're going to be like, okay, I can't continue to work with my team at the level I am and still grow my business. I just won't be able to juggle both all by myself. So what you're going to need to start doing is identifying who can step up and contribute to your team, who can lead the team call, who can put the posts up in the challenge group, who can do all these different things. And ask the individuals who are there that have proven that they're willing to put skin in the game to take on those responsibilities. That's something that Melanie Mitro talked about at New Leadership Conference earlier on this year. By the way, New Leadership Conference is something you should totally be pushing for. It takes place in February. You've got to be paid as 2-star or above. But if you can go to New Leadership Conference, you will get a level of training that's elevated from some of the stuff you'll see at Summit, but it's just amazing, right? It was a game changer for Bonnie Engel. She was 2-star like 2 years ago at New Leadership Conference, and the next year she was a top 10 coach, an elite coach, and actually speaking at leadership. Okay, so I want you guys to put that on something that you're pushing for. All right. Well, I feel like I can continue to talk forever and ever. The last thing I'm going to do, guys, is just challenge you to do this. Look at your business and split it into 2 categories. There's going to be recruiting and sales for you personally on one side, and there's going to be team management and team support on the other. Okay. So what a lot of coaches will traditionally do is once they start adding people onto their team, they want to pour every ounce of love and support they can into everyone on their team to make sure they stay there. Here's the cold hard reality, guys. People are going to come and people are going to go. So if you focus all of your time and effort on holding those people, your team will wither. Okay. You need to be spending the majority of your time leading from the front, adding new people to your challenge groups and adding new people to your coaching crew. As you do that, your team will grow and thrive. So if you're a diamond to basically 2-star, you should be spending 80% of your time on recruiting and adding coaches to your challenge group, 20% of your time on team management. Okay. Now that's a common thing that we see flip-flopped in the company, and that's where people can kind of stagnate, right? So I'm just gonna challenge you guys to take a cold hard look at where you're at with your time, and make that decision. Okay, so last thing, just a reminder, where are you going to be 6 months to a year from now? Identify what that's going to look like, where you would like to be, not necessarily what you think you're capable of. Write that stuff down and send me a Facebook message with that, okay? Guys, I believe in you. I know that as you guys continue to show up every single day and lead from the front and help mentor and really increase your team's potential, you will grow as a person. The things you're looking for in your business will start to happen. The revenue will start to come. You will influence so many more people to live healthy and fulfilling lives. And you're going to feel good about where you're at, okay? So thanks for having me on the call today. I appreciate it. And what I'll do is I'll turn the time over to you, Lee or Amelia, and then we can either wrap up the call or do a Q&A.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I mean, I think you've done and you do this as your living, but you've done a really, really good job at simplifying things. I think what happens as people get into this, they think, oh, what are the tricks? What are the secrets? What do I need to do now that I'm X, Y, or Z? And it all goes back to the basics. Like you said, you're helping people, you're running great groups, you're helping them. And just like Melissa McAllister said on the call this week, you make them feel like they want to be a part of this forever. And that's what they go and do. There's no secret sauce. There's no magic juice that anyone has. I mean, she meets a lot of people. She runs a lot of groups. She said she's not the biggest recruiter, but she's recruiting, she said, 6 coaches last month. And that's not a joke. In order to do that, you have to have 600 people that you're talking to, and now that's cumulative. So I think that's where we get caught up, and that's where people tend to lose sight of, oh, I don't have anyone to invite. But it's like you said, the momentum picks up as you do the small little things. And I think if we can just help people see those 4 basic things are really all we need to do, and then have our teams help us work with our teams to help them run good challenge groups, putting those invites out, people come to you. I know that from experience. It's easy not to do the things that you were doing when you were successful. And I think that's where people get caught up in the management and the recognition and the things that are more fun, because it's hard to meet new people, build those relationships, and do the invites. But I think the hard is where we need to go, guys. And I want to open, like Joe said, I want to be respectful of his time, but I want to open this up to everyone who did take time tonight to be on the call. If you have any questions for anyone on the call or for Joe specifically, go ahead and unmute yourself, because it's hard for me to see in this view who has a question, and just ask. We'll give them a few minutes for Q&A. Or Amelia, if you wanted to say something, this is an opportunity for you to.
I don't have anything specific really to speak about, but I know I've gone over this in a smaller type group with Joe, and I mean, he hits it. And I mean, there's a reason why coaches and top coaches and sales corporate people tell us the same things, like you said, because there is no secret, or this is the secret sauce. He just gave it to you. So if you want the sauce, there you go. Slather it all over, guys.
It's what you do with it, right? I mean, it's showing up when it's difficult. It's facing the challenges. I mean, your life is not easy right now. Let's admit it. Everyone has their own challenges. They're all different. But being committed because you want it and you're making it happen, like Joe said, is very respectable, and it's not easy, and you get a lot of credit for that. And it's because you're driven and you have set your goals and you're not giving up. And it's easy to get distracted and give up, and you get kudos from everyone on this call for life is challenging, and yet you're here and you're doing what you need to do. And You do it with a smile on your face. So thank you.
This feels
No.
good. This feels good to be back in
Mm-hmm.
this. What I love to do. So
And when you love to do work, it doesn't feel like work. Those are the people you're looking for, guys. Okay, the Amelias in your life.
but I think that that's a thing to think about too, is if you are struggling or you're not as hyped with your own results or your challengers aren't, maybe get back to the basics and what you do love and why you do love to coach, and find the balance of where things got off course. I know that I struggled with that a lot after I made Premier at the beginning of this year, and it turned into trying to do something rank driven with my business, and I completely lost sight as to why I was a coach in the first place. And so if you feel like maybe things aren't lining up, just take it back a step, and why do you love to do this, and what do you need to do to love what you love doing again?
Thank you for saying
That's absolutely right. Jeff Hill has been talking with us a lot lately. We're reading this book called Let's Get Real or Let's Not Play. That's the name of the book. And basically what it is it's finding real solutions for people. I think sometimes we're talking with people, we want to force on them a solution that we feel like they need without even understanding exactly what their needs are, right? I remember going to a car dealership, and I told the guy, I'm looking for a sedan. It's going to be between this year and this year. These are the 3 models that I'm interested in. Do you have anything there? And he's like, oh yeah. And he showed me a completely different car, walked me out to the lot. And I was like, this isn't what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? And he got upset and I got upset. And, I think when we're out there, we have such a target-rich environment of people who could use our products, right? People who want to look better, people who want to feel better, people who need to lose weight, people who are struggling with their emotions, all that stuff. Find what it is that they need and then meet them where they're at. Find the solution for them, whether that is coaching or whether that's being a challenger or just being a customer. But as you continue to help people, you will feel more fulfilled and your business will grow. So I think that Amelia is right. Sometimes we kind of don't see the forest for the trees sometimes.
Well, and I think to that point, exactly, Joe, it really is all about the relationship that you create with the people. And that was one of your basic activities. And then from that, it's really about listening. I think that car salesman could have made a sale had he listened to you. He had what you needed, but he had an agenda and he was going off his agenda. And I think I'm guilty of that very often. And I think Success Club drives that. And I have a thing where I'm on a streak with Success Club 10 and I'm not going to lose it. But then at times that I have to really do a lot of self-checking. If that person's not ready, and this is what I have to tell myself, this person's not ready, Lee, there are more people. Go talk to more people, because it's really easy to get discouraged. If that person said yes, and now they're not going to pull the trigger, but you say, and I could drive myself crazy. And I've done a really good job of just saying, okay, that person's not ready, let's move on. And just continuing to add people to the list. But that is not an easy thing. And I think that we get caught up in that. And I think the more relationships you have, the more conversations you have, the easier it will be to find that next person. And I think the more people get stuck is that they don't have that person. They're just pushing on the wrong relationships. They get an icky feeling. They're giving off an icky feeling. And this business then becomes icky. And I think then go back to helping people for what they need. And it's hard. It's hard to meet new people. It's hard to find new people. But that's where I think we need to work on is, okay, what interests you? Where can you meet those people? How can you develop those relationships? And work on, that's personal development, working on you to become a better listener, working on you to become interested versus trying to be interesting. And those are things that I work on all the time. But I think those are harder things, than.
And be patient. You got to be patient with this. I don't know how many of you guys went to Summit, but Gary Vaynerchuk was talking about his formula for success. And basically his main principles were work hard. A lot of us don't work as hard as we think we are, and be patient. He said, it's funny that coaches want to do this for 6 months and then be retired in a beach in Hawaii, sipping a drink out of a coconut. And it's just not that way. You know what I mean? So if you don't have people in that pipeline, of potential challengers, or you don't have that people in that pipeline of potential coaches, what you need to do. You need to go back to that Fantastic Four and start building that pipeline up again, right? Start building with those relationships with people. And as you stay consistent and you're patient and you work hard, I promise you that pipeline will be filled. You will have people to talk with.
Yeah, it's the patience part I think people get stuck up on. Jen Thatcher, I think you had unmuted. Did you have a question or a comment?
I was just going to say, first of all, how awesome of a speaker Joe is. And I know you guys are all, excited with your engines running right now, but what counts is the execution part. You can listen to this all day long, but if you don't execute and do anything with it, then you're just going to be stuck at the same place that you were, 30, 40 minutes ago when we started. And that's a big struggle for me too. It's like, I know the things that I have to do, which is doing them consistently on a daily basis is what I have to get better at.
Yep, well, definitely say, take Amelia and say, be committed like Amelia. You know what I mean? Regardless of what happens, your kid scribbles on the wall, your son broke his finger, your kids have strep throat, whatever it is, you've got to show up every single day. You just have to, that's part of it. As you do that, then, because it's a slippery slope when it's like, well, I'm tired today. Tell me a day when you're not going to be tired. You know what I mean? Tell me a day when something crazy hasn't happened.
Well,
it's commitment versus goals, right?
It is. It's to place the goals, to stay committed is the hard part. To set the goal is easy. But honestly, when you build that momentum, you won't feel yourself slowing down until, like you said, 3 months later. So try and just tell yourself that you just need to stay committed to the path. And I think then that's where the patience works, where if you're not consistent and you're patient, it doesn't matter because you need the momentum to build. And I think that is where a lot of people get off. And Jen, I think that's hard. I think the tools that you use and others use to help you stay committed and track your activity helps you see what you're doing and what you're not doing. Like Jen's been using Teamsy to really track her activity. And I think that's just a way to see what you're doing because so many of us think we're doing the actions, but we're not. We're not tracking and we don't see what we're doing. So just a huge shout out to like showing us that tool and staying committed to that. And I think there's a lot to be said for tracking. You can't improve on what you do not know.
That's 100% correct. And tracking can be boring. Sometimes they'll talk about tracking and people's like eyes glaze over and they're like totally not following you, don't want to hear about it. But it's so important to have metrics. Like if you have metrics on how many things you're doing, like that Fantastic Four, for example, it's specific, defined system, right? And am I doing it or am I not? As you track those types of things, you'll really get a clear view of are you showing up? Are you putting skin in the game? That's such a huge portion.
And I want to add to that, guys. As you continue to do what you're doing, I speak from experience with this. I've been a coach for almost 10 years. What I want to say is that you get better at some of the things that you do often. You'll get better at making the relationships. You'll fail forward, but you will get so much better. Your percentages of the number of people that you meet to the number of people that join your groups or the number of people who say yes to your invites, whatever you're inviting them to, will go up. In the beginning, it'll be 1 in 10 if you're lucky, but that's the average. As you get better, it might be 6 in 10. That might take you a few years. It might take you 10 years, but that helps you to your advantage. You can do 2 things when that happens. You can cut back on your activity and stay where you are, or you can continue with your same activity and watch your results fly. So that's where you get to be in the driver's seat. And I speak from experience on that. I've driven really hard. I've gotten better. I've slowed down. I wonder why my results are where I'm at. And it's because of that. Am I happy? Am I living the life that I've wanted and never dreamed of beyond that? Yes. But then if I need to make a choice to go back to more activity for more results, then I have to look at, well, where do I need to change? And I know the answer is to invite more people, talk to more people. And then it's just a choice. Okay, where do I find the time? Because I've included things that I took out of my life 6 years ago to be a top coach, but I put back in my life because I've achieved some comfort. So it's really about choice and sacrifice. And in the beginning, there is no choice, okay? And then as you continue to grow and build, then you choose where you can take some things away from and add comforts to. I gave up lunches with friends. I gave up all my social time. I gave up so many things, volunteering in the classroom that were niceties but weren't necessities in order to do the activities But I don't say you shouldn't stay in that phase forever. You need to go and I love how Jeff Hill says this, you have seasons of imbalance in your life, and your why drives them. If something was to happen in my life where I needed more out of something, and maybe my husband lost his job, or maybe, I had an illness in the family where I had an unpredictable expense of $200,000 that I had to cover. Believe me, my life would change dramatically, but I have the tools and the power with this company to go back to focusing on just what I need to do. And that's the blessing in this business. It is hard to do, but I think that when you put your blinders on and you are committed because your why is stronger than anything else, and you know exactly what you need to do, even if it's your purpose in help, and I'm going on a rant here, sorry, but even if your purpose is in helping people, then you just need to stay committed to that goal and find the people and help more people. And that is the passion that you see in the top coaches in this company. I've listened to so many different people, and I know from my experience as well as from listening to others, that's the determining factor on why somebody has this crazy looking success. It's because they are committed beyond belief to their reasons for doing what they're doing. And everyone's reasons are different, but I'm telling you, it's a sacrifice for everyone. Like, don't think that it's like, oh, it comes easy to her. And I've talked to Barbara Decker about this, even like as recent as like 6 months ago. It's like what it took me to go superstar, because she was a peer of mine. At a time we were equal in the company. I mean, we still are equals as people, but I've watched her success be in different forms. And she said, but you have 4 kids, you have a different season in your life. And in order for me to hit this goal, like, I sacrificed time with my husband, time with my animals. And I don't know that that's what you want to do right now. And I thanked her for giving me, that reality check of, maybe that's why I'm not doing it, because I know. But we all have that choice. And I think that understanding that it's a choice is really powerful. And then you all can do, I was just a somebody, a nobody, and I chose to do the work to get where I wanted for my own personal growth. And I think you all have that power to say, why not me? And that's when it changed, and that's when things change, when you say that to yourself. So I'm going to give you permission to say that, and then write your goal and send it to Joe. And if you want to copy me, you can. But I am here to work with those people that have goals, that are committed, just like Joe is. I love this business more than anything. I had left the corporate world. I had left my job. I am so passionate about helping others. And it's because of the goodness that I feel in giving. I just want others to feel the same. And, it's beyond rewarding. Like Lindsay had said, your paycheck will be directly proportionate to the number of people you help. And I truly believe that. She is helping a load of people, guys. And you each can do that. It's just a matter of finding the time. And you never have the time, you have to make the time. And I've realized that. I mean, like Joe said, broken fingers, broken water heaters, parties, planning. I mean, there's so much in everyone's life that's going on. It's just a matter of saying, I'm committed beyond belief, and I'm going to make this happen. And it's not going to be easy, and I will not tell you that it's easy, but it's worth it. Gosh,
Oh, and that's 100% correct. Thank you so much for sharing that to me. Right. So let's see here. Amelia, Jen, Lee, is there anything else you wanted to do before we wrap the call up? Any other questions?
Anyone have a question specifically for Joe? I think I'll look through everyone. Just unmute if you do. I'll ask you one question, Joe. It's come up quite a bit recently on the team. People, and then I know the answer I would give, but let's hear your answer as well. What do I do when my coaches aren't doing, what I'm doing? I'm leading by example, and now, they're just either distracted or not committed, or just saying they're working, but they're not. What do you do? I know what I would tell somebody, but what would you say? So,
what I would definitely say is you've got to continue recruiting. You've got to recruit. If these people aren't right now in their life, they're not willing to commit, you've got to find people who are. You know what I mean? So instead of spending your 80% of your time on your team, spend 80% of your time building, new people. And I'll just close with this. Some of you have heard this before. I look at Beachbody like a tree. There's different aspects of the tree. There's roots of the tree, there's branches, and there's fruit. Recruiting is your roots, okay? So like your roots are recruiting. You've got to be there. That's very important. The branches will form as your recruits become healthy, as your recruiting becomes healthy. So you'll see a new leader that's like a branch that you've sprouted. And then all of a sudden your leaders are popping up and the fruit starts coming. That's looking like the success you're having. And you're like, yeah, this is great. just rank advanced and I made $500 this month or whatever it is. So the propensity is to focus solely on the fruit and the branches. Now, if you do that, what will happen is, and you take your eye off the ball of recruiting, then all of a sudden your roots aren't in good shape. Now, if the roots of your tree are not in good shape, your tree will start to die. That's just the way it is, right? And I will tell you this will happen, and some of you leaders who've been there will know, you'll have diamonds who will quit. You'll have some of your best coaches who will just be like, nope, not for me. See you later. Won't respond to any of your messages. And you're like, what the heck just happened? You'll have storms that will come. It'll blow your fruit and your branches clean off of your tree. If your roots are not in good condition, you will wither and die, right? So, but the beautiful thing is, if you are in good shape with your roots, your recruiting's on point. If that happens, you're just going to grow new branches. You're just going to grow new fruit. It might take time, but you'll get there. And it happens to everyone. I think Lindsay Matway said at Summit, she's got 85 lifetime diamonds. I think, was it 30 or less that are currently paid as diamond right now? So this stuff takes place, right? It's just part of the coaching routine. If you have people who are not showing up, you can give them the tools, right? You want to give them the framework. Make sure that they've got the stuff they need. Janelle Summers talked about this just recently on her Champions page video that she did. You love on everybody, right? You give everybody the information they need, but here's the cold reality. Not everybody's going to do it. And you can't force people to do it that aren't interested. So you can do as well as just talk with them and say, okay, here's your goal. Align your goal, your result, your actions with your goal. If you do that, you're setting yourself up for success. If you're not, you either got to change your goal or change what the actions are you're putting into it. So those are the two answers that I'd give to you there.
That's awesome. And I really like that analogy, because you do start to feel like my team's all quitting. No one's listening to me. Oh my God, these people, they said, but they're not. And the answer, and I tell this to other people, but the answer is to just find more people. And it's not easy. It takes time to develop people. But if for some reason you do go into, and I'm guilty of it, you go into more of the management fun stuff, you still recruit, but you're not really recruiting anymore, then you don't have leaders to work with anymore. And that's hard. That's a hard reality. So it's going back. And thank you for really giving that life. I like that analogy a lot. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, no problem. All right, everybody. Thanks for having me on the call today. I'll let you guys get back to what you need to do at your house. You guys are amazing people. Thanks for being committed and showing up here. And I look forward to seeing what those goals are. So we'll see you guys soon, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Joe. Have a great night, and thanks for your time.
Thanks. Bye.